All right, so I'm using this as my new outlet to talk about things because I was annoying people on Instagram too much. So I feel like this is a good outlet to just kind of rant on. And people appreciate. I think they typically will watch a longer video um, on here rather than something else. Um, and I wanted to talk about sort of. So I studied psychology in college, just a bachelor's. I don't have a master's or PhD or whatever. I mean, look at me, dude. But I wanted to talk about my issues with the field of psychology, um, and they kind of extend to issues about culture as a whole, at least in America right now. Um, Specifically, just using my journey through college as like kind of a frame and like my sort of introductions into mental health as somebody who didn't really have that um, who didn't have that as an ingrained part of their life. Like my family love them to death and they have learned and grown so much with me, but I don't believe that I was given the proper tools to deal with some of the stuff that I dealt with. Um, Not from my parents' lack of trying, but just that I think the problems that our generation deals with are more severe than other people are used to, um, or other generations are used to. So when I started my freshman year of college, I was studying computer science, um, and among other things, I did not like computer science. It wasn't for me, and I mean obviously it wasn't because I went into computer science thinking, okay, I kind of like computers, and apparently this field is going to make a lot of money. Fast forward, as somebody who doesn't really, I don't have like that much of a work ethic. Like I don't mean to sell myself short, but I'm not the most hardest working person in any room. I don't think. Um, as somebody like that in computer science, dude, I would. There's no chance I would have ever had a fucking job. Like I would have been like a drop in a bucket of fucking interns or people that wanted to be interns but can't be because of the AI shit. Of course, I didn't predict that. I just fucking hated computer science. It genuinely was part of the reason why I had debated suicide at that point. Um, and along with that, I had left the bubble of my hometown because I grew up like upper middle class, um, or I guess middle class, because the bar for middle class is it's like a household income above 100,000 or something like that. Um, so I was kind of I was sheltered. My town is I'm gonna leave my town out of the video just for the sake of my privacy, but I mean I'm sure you could if you did enough digging you could find it pretty easily. But my town is sheltered, among other things, sheltered in the context of like a lot of the racial and economic issues in the country, um, and I started to learn more about those things as I had went to Boston for school, where I was going, um, and there were these things that my parents had sheltered me from on purpose that I was then seeing. Um, if you know me in person, I've talked about this before, probably to you, but I just remember walking down the streets and seeing these giant shining steel buildings, um, with every single light on at night, and then just a dude in a fucking trash bag right in the inlet of that building. And it was just, it was so strange to see like such high heights of like industry and consumerism in the same place as there were these lowest of lows of people who have just been like kicked out from society. It was fucking crazy for me to see. And I know to a lot of you guys it's probably super fucking normal, but this shook my brain. Like it really fucking did. And that and the combination with the fact that I was kind of battling the fact that like I'm gonna be in a meaningless career, where I'm gonna be sitting at a desk 100% of the time and just like typing on a keyboard and working for a company who is their ethics are vague, you know, and of course that was very telling of what's happening now. Vague ethics is kind of the new Silicon Valley motto. Um, but that's what started my journey into psychology, because I saw so much wrong with the world, and I thought that, among other things, that I could fix myself and fix others. Um, and so I started to get more into this stuff, and I started to kind of see the same tropes everywhere. Like everybody's telling me you gotta eat better, you gotta exercise, and you gotta meditate. All three of those things take time or money. And essentially, money now is time. Um, but I'm not even gonna elaborate on that. You get what I mean, I think. But all of those things take time and money, along with the psychologist, really. Um, and I always felt that I was doing something wrong. Like I was worthless because I personally couldn't do all of those things all the time. I couldn't instill these good habits in myself. Um, and it made me feel worse about myself. Um, and also very isolated in that experience of like depression and anxiety. Um, and I thought that when I learned more about psychology, I would sort of find an answer to this. Um, and the more that I look for an answer, the more it's clear that this is a cultural issue. Um, for instance, the everybody telling you to always fucking meditate, take a deep breaths, meditate. Um, the only reason why that we have to be reminded to meditate now is because life itself used to be a meditative process. Like before technology, well, before some technologies. Like, I mean, phone is the most obvious one. Everybody knows this already. Information fucking blasted into your brain all the fucking time. You're never separate from it. I always keep my phone in my pocket. My phone is right next to my fucking bed. Like, the entire world or a specific frame of it is always right next to me. Everything I ever wanted but couldn't have. Everything I regret. Old memories of mine. Everything that makes me scared. Everything that makes me happy. It's all right here. Right next to me all the fucking time. And it's not on purpose. These people know, the people that are making these things know what they're doing. They're trying to sap all of your attention. And that's what meditation is. It's about attention. In more like lax versions of meditation, I would sit here and I would follow my breath in and out, doing a repetitive motion with very little stimulus so that my brain could focus on my thoughts. The thing is, that used to be the most normal thing ever in a person's life. If you went for a walk, if you were walking somewhere, you don't have a phone, you can't listen to music. I mean, sure, maybe if you had a Walkman, but even with a Walkman, you had to make that mixtape yourself of those songs. It was very difficult to find new songs. Other than that, it would be an album. You'd have to listen to the whole thing. The bad songs, the good songs, everything you thought was imperfect. Now you can listen to whatever you want all the time, anytime, on the phone. And my job, I have to, and granted, this is much less bad than other people, but I need to be constantly interacting with technology, using my email, just all the time. They're and my job is tiring because especially mentally, because I'm not in. It's not a very labor heavy job, is what I'll say. It's a very social job, um, and it seems like all of these actions that would typically be meditative, um, no longer exist or are always supplemented by something else, like when I'm sewing, which is a very meditative act to me. Like you're focusing on this piece of fabric very intently, trying to make sure you make the right stitches. I'm not very good at it, so it takes some clear attention. But I listen to music while I do that, and honestly, I don't think I should. I think I should just sit there and just do it, just do the thing. Um, just this constant inundation with information is the only reason why we need to meditate in the first place. Life itself used to be a meditative act. Um, and that thought has just been really fucking killing me lately. I'm sure it's not a revelation to some of you, but it's just we're constantly everything is trying to pull an emotion out of us, um, and it gets to a point where you don't have anything to give. So it's just like I don't know. I almost regret taking psychology. It promotes this individualism that I don't think is the solution to this problem. Um, and I'm not saying that psychology as a field is irrelevant. I think it's a really, really relevant field right now. Um, but it's just it is not solving the problem that I thought it would solve. I think we truly have a cultural, um, legal, and economic issue going on right now, and that is causing the anxiety that you see with everybody. Um, each person almost living in their own like individual schizophrenia, like just this kind of made up world around them. And I'm not saying I'm any special or different. Um, I just everything is so individual. There's so much individuality. Um, but we need these are issues we need to solve socially. I don't know. I don't know if that's a concise message to end this off on. I feel like I've done my dues. I haven't really got a thought left in my head. Um, and if you're still like listening to this or watching this for some reason, I hope you sort of find what you were looking for. Um, and I hope that it's something worth finding. But I hope you have a nice day. And generally just don't take things as hard on yourself. Like if you had a glimpse into most people's lives right now, you'd be like, shit, I'm not doing that bad. Like we're kind of all on the same page. Shit is kind of messed up.